Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your man Soul here. Welcome back to the channel. You know what it is when you clicked it. Sorry for the little hiatus I had to take. It's the holiday season in the States if you don't live in the US. It's a really busy time, myself included, so I did have to take some time back just to get some IRL stuff in order before I really started laser focusing in on the channel again. So I apologize to those who seen a content drought, but I promise you I'm going to do my best to make sure that these little hiatuses happen very few and far between. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Alrighty, speculation time. So Wrath Classic has opened up for about a month and a half now, right? It released on September 26th with the Phase 1 raids opening up on October 6th, so about 6 weeks ago. And I feel like for the most part, the player base has gotten into a rotation, a swing, a routine of how they want to play the game, myself included, right? So there really isn't much catching up to do anymore. I think people really got what they wanted from all of the Phase 1 raids. There might be that, one-off or, two pieces that you want. But for the most part, tunes are pretty kitted out there. I know my Death Knight is pretty much full bis. I think I might be missing one item that I haven't seen drop yet. But for the most part, I'm pretty kitted out. And because I really wanted to avoid this, but there really isn't a way to, especially because the holidays are a busy time, I've seemed to fallen into a slump, right? A slump of raiding and logging, and then next week raiding, then logging. And there really isn't a penalty because there's not really much to do outside of raiding if your tune is already geared or if you're not gearing an ult. Like, there isn't anything that I'm missing out on. I'm pretty much exalted with all of the reps. Like I said before, my Death Knight is kitted, so there's really not much bringing me back besides raiding. There's very little replay value. And I told myself in TBC I wouldn't do this because Wrath was an expansion that I really enjoyed. It's the expansion that I started playing this game in, and I developed a lot of friends that I still have till this day. So I didn't want to do that, but to be quite honest, Wrath is doing a hard time of keeping my attention. And I knew, or I hope I should say, that the game is looking to open up once Ulduar gets released. So I'm keeping that excitement, that hope in the back of my mind, and I'm just using the Phase 1 raids as a stepping stone. I even think I said that in the video. I think that no matter how much they would have buffed not just Nax but any of the Phase 1 raids, they aren't going to be as difficult as probably what people want them to be. So just use them just to farm gear, right? And when Ulduar does release, and I have a screenshot of I guess a unverified leak. I guess all leaks are unverified, but pretty much a leak on when we could see the release of Ulduar. But when it does release, I feel like that's going to open up the game a lot more, especially because they are increasing the item level of Ulduar, right? So that's going to put new difficulties in the game, and I would assume it would be new difficulties, right? Because you wouldn't buff the item level of the items without actually buffing the bosses, in my opinion. They could literally just buff the item level and keep the bosses the same difficulty, but in my opinion, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I think they're going to buff the boss damage and boss health in Ulduar just like they did with Nax, to go along with buffing the item levels that we're going to be receiving from both 10 and 25 man. And with that being said, I saw the video from Solheim Gaming. Shout out to Solheim Gaming. He's a really good WoW tuber. If you haven't heard of his channel, he does a lot of gold farming guys and just overall WoW news. Really good information channel. I saw his video today, and he posted a video on the League of Ulduar, and I'm going to throw up the screenshot here. And basically it looks like we're going to be getting Ulduar January 9th. And I have a couple things to say about this date. So number one, I didn't think we were getting Ulduar in 2022. I think we're definitely getting it next year, because we still got to think that Nax only came out 6 weeks ago, right? Generally speaking, phases last about 3 to 4 months when it comes to Classic. So even though I was over Nax like after week 3, like even if I didn't have all my full raid bis, like my Phase 1 bis, I was pretty much over it. I was over all of the Phase 1 raids. I was already looking ahead, and that's just me. Like I can be impatient, like I can be impulsive, so that's just me. I know people are still working through it, and they feel differently, but that was just me, how I felt about Nax. So I was always looking towards Ulduar, but I knew I had to police myself and tell myself I know we're not getting Ulduar this year. I know they wouldn't be releasing Ulduar around the same time they're doing all the other shit with their other games. For example, Overwatch 2 came out in October, right? We're getting Dragonflight in about 2 weeks. So they're not going to do those two things and then drop another major patch around the holiday times. They're already dropping an expansion during the holidays. I doubt that they drop an expansion and a major patch, a major rating patch during the holiday season. It doesn't seem like a good idea to me. So in my head, I always thought that we were definitely getting Ulduar next year. Now, when that would be, I mean, you could just kind of really napkin math, and not even napkin math, just really guesstimate. All right, if the phases last about 4 months from October, November, December, January, February. So you're looking at about February. So January 9th to me is early, but I love it. The quicker we get out of Nax, the better, in my opinion. Some people feel differently. I get that. If you're still working on something, you're still working on a set, or if you're switching mains and you need to gear up another tune, I get it. You need Ulduar, you need OS, you need Eye of Eternity. No shame in your game. But for me, I'm ready to kick Nax and Ola Mother Race to the curb, to be honest with you. So January 9th being the speculated release date for Ulduar seems a little early to me, but again, I welcome it, especially because I want to see what they're going to do with the boosted item levels. You got to remember, they also announced that the release of Ulduar would also be the release of the Heroic Plus dungeons, where the dungeons would drop Phase 1 10-man gear from Nax. So that's also a way to boost your character if you're switching mains and you need the extra boost. So I'm also interested to see what they're going to do with Heroic Dungeons, or Heroic Plus in this case, my bad. And just, I want to see this patch. There's a lot of things going on, and we're going to see more speculative things come out as time goes on. But overall, my opinion on this is that January 9th seems like a good time. What I wanted earlier, absolutely. Do I think it's going to happen? 1,000% hell nah. But January 9th seems like a good time. So if it is the case and it stays that course, I'm all for it. And in some unrelated WoW news, November's been kind of a poppin' month for game releases. We got God of War Ragnarok the other day. We're getting Pokemon Scarlet and Violet soon. And we get Dragonflight at the end of the month. So November's been really, really poppin'. And with that, I've been kind of thinking about branching out and just posting some other content. One thing I've been doing, in my little spare time that I've had over the past month and a half, is I've been playing Evolve again, which I recently found out came back over the summer. I didn't realize they turned the servers on. And way back, about 5 years ago now, when I first started this channel, I was posting Evolve content because I just loved Evolve. I was also doing WoW stuff, but I was doing Evolve stuff on the side. So I might return to form and, get some Evolve stuff out there. And if you see me out there and you want to play, pull up with me. But I think branching out and just posting some side content without taking away from the majority of the WoW stuff that I love, I think it'll do the channel some good. I do want your responses. If you want to see some different games out there, let me know. I recently put up a community post on the idea of streaming if people want to see me stream, toying around with that idea. So if you want to see some different content from me, be on the lookout from it and give me your feedback. If you want to see that shit, let me know. If you don't, put it in the comments like, nah, just stick to WoW. But I think side content is healthy because with retail and classic being such popular games, you can get fatigued with all of the content creators flooding the gateway or flooding the traffic stream with WoW content. And at some point, I have to look at myself and say, okay, what content am I going to post and what am I adding to the conversation? I think I mentioned that in a video prior where I said sometimes I don't jump on certain topics because I feel like if certain people cover it, or if enough people cover it, and I can't add anything new to the conversation, then I can just pass on it, right? There's no point for me to jump in or throw my hat in if I don't have too much of a varying perspective on certain topics. So I think side content is just for that. You can learn a little bit more about me, my likes, my dislikes, and we can just have a good time with it, have some fun with it. So that's really it for the video, guys. Again, sorry for the long hiatus. I've been super busy. I've been definitely looking to get back into putting up some content. So this is just the start of it. Be on the lookout. For those that stuck with me, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. And for the new subscribers, because I have been seeing, don't think that I haven't seen it, I really appreciate you guys. You have helped the channel grow even in my absence. So the gratitude, can't be spoken about enough. So thank you all again. And as always, you guys have been great. I've been Soul, and I'm out. Peace.